Hi everybody, welcome to week 3, module 3 of Wedge Unlocked. We are over halfway through and I can't believe it, so let's have a little look at what we've got in store today. So today, module 3 is about digital marketing. We've called it Your Online Empire. So there's a few different types of digital marketing. We'll just run through them. We're not going to go into too much detail. So the first one, search engine optimization, more commonly known as SEO. So this one is all about how to get to the top of a search engine, usually Google. Search engine marketing, SEM. So again, this deals with search engines and how to appear in their pages. Social media marketing, this is the one that we're going to talk about most. So all of the different social media channels, so you've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, all of those. We're going to cover them in more detail. The fourth one is pay-per-click advertising. So this relates to adverts that you see on websites and adverts that you see on Google, and people that businesses that place them there. So that's what PPC relates to. And then email marketing, so all of the emails that you get in your inbox from shops and brands when they've got a sale on, things like that, that is email marketing. Okay, so those are the 5 different types of digital marketing. We're going to look at social media marketing in the most detail. So the power of social media is what we're going to have a little look at first. And this is just something that we wanted to include that we thought was really important. Rule number 1 of social media, keep it clean, lock it down. And what we mean by this is if you wouldn't want it displayed on a screen in a boardroom meeting with a potential client or employer, then keep it off your feed. So potential clients and employers will look up your social media accounts. 100% it's going to happen. I was in a position at a previous job where I was employing people, and we did look at their social media, we looked at their Instagram, looked at their Facebook, all those types of things. Not that you can kind of use it legally, but people will stalk you. So make sure that what you're putting up there is something that people would want to see. And if it's not, then make sure that your account is private and you know who's following you. So yeah, we just wanted to make that really clear before we got started. So these are the things that we're going to focus on in module 3. We're going to consider the different social media channels available and how effective they are. We're going to identify the different features of the social media platforms, and we're going to look at a social media strategy as well as some paid for advertising information. Okay, so let's get started. So firstly, we're going to look at the different channels that are available. So these are the main social media platforms, and next to them you'll see how many active monthly users they have. So we've got Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and TikTok. So you can just see how many billions and millions of people are using these every month. So I think, who have we got? Instagram and Facebook up there in the billions of people. So it's really clear to us that these are the most popular platforms with the most active monthly users. I don't think that comes as much of a surprise to any of us. And that's why these are the ones that we're going to focus on in this presentation. But yeah, as you can see, and as you all probably know, they are just so busy, so much going on, so much activity and so much traffic across all of these platforms. And then we thought it would be interesting to have a little look at the main demographic for each. So Instagram, you've got the majority of people using it between 25 and 34. You've got Twitter between 35 and 65. That's quite a wide age range. Facebook between 30 and 49. So we're seeing now more older people using Facebook and younger people steering away from it and going on to things like Snapchat, like we've got there between 13 and 17, and TikTok between 16 and 24. LinkedIn really is the kind of professional network for people who are in a running a business or in their careers, being employed by people. So most people kind of jump onto LinkedIn usually when they're in their first jobs, or maybe when they've graduated from university or something like that. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see all of the different age ranges that you've got for the different social media platforms. I don't think I was probably a little bit surprised by LinkedIn. I thought maybe younger people than 25 would be on there. But what's really incredible to see is how young people are accessing things like Snapchat and TikTok. So yeah, those are the different demographics for each. We're going to run through some pros and cons of platforms. So first up, we're going to look at Instagram. So Instagram has a rapidly growing user base. It's a great visual branding tool. There's 10 times more engagement than Facebook, and it's a creative and imaginative platform. So you're all probably pretty comfortable with Instagram, I would imagine. And as you know, it's very image led. The main kind of thing is the image, which makes it a really good place to kind of get creative, especially for businesses and for people themselves that like are influencers or brands. You can get creative with the photos that you're taking and uploading. 10 times more engagement than Facebook. This is quite incredible, and it's kind of widely known now that Facebook is difficult to market on because they kind of want you to pay for everything. And as we saw on the slide before, Instagram has that rapidly growing user base. So many millions and billions of people are using it every month. So cons, more about branding than selling, a strong strategy needed to grow a following, and hard work if you aren't good at photos. So yeah, as we mentioned, mainly image led, which is where you need to be good at taking photos, or be good at creating photos, or be good at editing photos. And if you're not, you might struggle to gain traction on there. Yeah, so those are the pros and the cons of the Instagram platform. Twitter. So Twitter is ideal for news and announcements. It's fast paced with quick follower reactions, and engagement revolves around conversation. So what's good about Twitter? I really like Twitter, actually. I use it pretty much instead of reading the news. I just go onto Twitter. I think that's like what a lot of people do. Their first thing when they wake up might have been turning on the radio to listen to the news. It's now Twitter, just to get those instant quick updates, and they're very, very short, of course. And engagement revolves around conversations. People are much more likely to engage in conversation on a place like Twitter. Sometimes that can be good, and sometimes that can be bad, because there's a lot of probably conversations that you don't want to be involved with on Twitter as well. It's quite a political, like news-based place. The cons of it. So the content lifespan is short. This basically means, like, if you post a tweet within 20 minutes or something, that could be pushed very far down someone's news feed, because there's so much traffic on Twitter, so many people putting out so many tweets, that a tweet doesn't actually last very long, and might not be seen very often. Twitter advertising can be quite pricey. It requires a lot of content, and there's also the character limit of 280 characters. So yeah, I'm probably quite in the habit now of being able to write something that is 280 characters. But when you first get started, you're writing things that are way too long, and you need to always chop them down, which is difficult at first. So yeah, that's the pros and the cons of Twitter. Let's have a little look at Facebook. So a huge reach and the broadest audience. So as we saw from our demographics, it's in the billions of users. And although, you know, the main demographic might be the 30 to 49, most people do have a Facebook. And so it has got the broadest audience of all different ages, ethnicities, diversities, genders, across the globe. So many people use it and do spend a lot of time on it. I think it's one of the most the platforms after Instagram or Facebook that people spend the most time on. It's got very good analytics for their business pages, so you can really read into the data. There are unlimited characters, unlike Twitter, which is great. And you can also target and segment your paid posts, meaning that you can choose who kind of sees them, which is a really clever function. You can do that on the other platforms, but I think that Facebook has the most kind of advanced advertising platform. And the cons, almost zero organic reach. So as we said before, Facebook are making it more and more difficult now for businesses' content to be shown to their audience. They want you to pay for advertising pretty much all of the time. It's the most competitive because most people have it and most people use it for their business. It's often seen as a personal platform though, so that's why you sometimes think, oh, it's just sort of like mums or dads on Facebook, because sometimes it is people sharing pictures of their family, connecting with friends, that kind of thing. And there's a lot of effort needed to maintain a Facebook platform, whereas something like Twitter might be a little bit simpler. Okay, part 2, types and times. Let's have a little look what we're going to talk about here. So there are different types of content that we wanted to cover, and to start with, you need to confirm that you're looking to who you're looking to reach with your content, and what is the goal that you want to achieve, and also the people that you want to reach with it. So those are some key questions that you need to ask yourself before you kind of consider posting on social media. Now, this is specifically talking about posting on social media as a business, but of course it could apply to yourself as a personal brand. So what we mean by that is, as you graduate, as you leave college or leave school, you yourself can become a personal brand. So someone would know that you might be working at a certain place, you might be creating things, you might be putting out content, even on your personal Instagrams or personal Facebooks or personal Twitters, that other people would want to get involved with and engage with. So it's not just about having a business and selling, you yourself can be a personal brand. Let us know if you want any more information about that, because it can be quite an interesting concept to understand. So there's 4 main content types to consider: to entertain, to educate, to persuade, and to convert. So we'll have a little look at those in more detail. So to entertain, these type of posts will have a strong emotional appeal to an audience, making it very shareable. So let's have a little look at some examples. So here we go. We've got 3 posts from Greggs: bake in case of emergency, don't be a melt, and a little like a little pasty ring. So Greggs is really well known for their like funny, entertaining posts, as you can see here. This type of content people love. You can kind of see it from the likes. People love it, and it makes them want to share it with their friends, share it on their stories, tag people in the comments. This type of content is just really, really great for kind of building that brand identity. So now Greggs are well known across the industry as being people that put out funny content, basically. Okay, to educate. So these type of posts will allow for a wide reach, especially for those who might not be in the know about the products or services just yet. Again, this is often very shareable. So let's have a little look at the examples that we're talking about. So these, we've got 3 examples from Gymshark. So they've done like a little cardio hit session. They're showing people how to kind of do push-ups, and they're sharing political stuff about the Black Lives Matter movement. So Gymshark are fantastic at putting out this type of content. They've got a really, really strong customer base, and people love engaging with their content, as you can see from the amount of people that have liked it. So what's great about Gymshark is they're not just trying to sell you the outfits, they're showing you how to actually like get active and get fit when you're wearing Gymshark. And the one on the right hand side, they know that the Black Lives Matter movement is incredibly important. They need to make a stand and make it be known that they are part of that and they are with that. These are the types of educational content that Gymshark put out, and they do it really well. And then this one, the third one, to persuade. So this type of content is slightly more emotionally charged. So it's content that gradually changes the mind of the consumer. So when we say consumer, persuasive content will often be used in a product sense, but obviously it could be like a service sense or anything like that. So have a look at the examples here. We've got Untamed cat food. So here on the left hand side, you'll see a review, a testimonial, and these are a really great way to persuade people, because it's all very well and good someone telling you, oh, this brand is great, but hearing it from other people is even more powerful. And that's why reviews and testimonials are things that brands use a lot to back up their product or their service. And then lastly, the fourth one, to convert. So this is content that is more often than not rational rather than emotional, as you'll need a decision-making brain when considering what a conversion piece has to offer you. So for example, these are often sales pieces of content. So we've got something from Size here, and you'll see the product tags. This is a really great way for brands to convert their posts into a sale. So being able to tag the product on Instagram now or on Facebook, someone can click and be taken straight to the website to kind of purchase the order. So in that way, they're doing their best to convert them into sales. Then I wanted to talk a little bit about the prime times to post. So the best times to post, we found from our research of posting and also from looking around at what other people do and what does well, between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. in the morning. Often people are maybe on their way to work or getting ready, and they have that little bit more extra time to kind of scroll on social media. Between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Again, people might be finishing work, they might be on their way home, before they're making dinner, something like that. So they've got a little bit more time. Between 8:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. So we found that late evening, not the kind of prime dinner time spot, but a little bit after that is when it's a good time to post. And then Sunday mornings between 10 and 11:30 a.m. So when people are just probably usually doing very little, is another good time to post. And then times to avoid. So from our research again, the worst times to post would be Saturday evenings. Most people, well, maybe not nowadays, but in the past, most people were always going out or doing a different activity on a Saturday night, so it would get the least traction. During school hours or work hours, it's kind of avoiding that like 10 to 4 slot. And then in the middle of the night, unless your users are American or on a different continent, in the middle of the night, everyone's basically asleep, so they're not going to see it. But if you're a business or if you're thinking about your own social media, you need to think about who your target audience is. When are they online and when are they scrolling and liking, etc. So for example, if you were running like a baby group or something like that to do with new mums, in the middle of the night could actually work for you, because mums could be up with their mums or dads could be up with their babies. So you need to think about these times, but also think about your own audience and when they're going to be up. So part 3, we're going to move on to social media strategies. A strategy is a really important part of social media. It's basically like the business plan that we talked about last week, but for social media. And this is why having a social media strategy is important. So it will enable you to bring a strong and organic presence across social media. So if you've got a little bit more of a plan in place, you can actually use organic social media really well. And that means you don't have to pay for the advertising so much. It will save you time. So any kind of planning will save you time, but this allows you to take that initial output of time at the beginning, plan what you're going to do, and then save you time in the long run. Make sure your goals are covered. So with any planning, obviously you want to start with your aims and your goals, and then kind of figure out how you're going to get there. It will enable you to target your audience more effectively. So as part of a social media strategy, you'll consider who your audience are and how you're going to reach them. It will leave room for creativity and allow you to create better content, and it means that you can stay ahead of the competition. So many people and even businesses now just kind of post on social media with no kind of strategy behind it. So by creating a social media strategy for your business or your business idea or whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to stay ahead of the competition. So these are some key questions to ask yourself when you're creating a social media strategy. What is my goal with the social media? Who am I trying to reach? What makes me or my product or my service unique? How do I use social media to portray my unique selling points? How much time am I willing to commit to social media each week? And which social media platforms are going to be most effective for my business? So we'll remember those, because we're going to come back to them when you do the task. So a social media strategy can can take a couple of different forms, and I'm going to share my screen with you in a minute and show you one of those. But first of all, a mock grid. So this is Jodie's personal favorite. What she basically does is she gets a piece of A4 paper, and in there she does 9 squares, just like an Instagram grid. And that allows her the kind of creativity and freedom to plan her posts and know which post is going to say what, and what each post is going to be about. A more formal way to do it, and we do this a lot with our clients, is an overarching document. So if you bear with me a second, I'm going to show you one of our social media strategies, so it's just so you can briefly see it. Okay, cool. So if everybody can see that now, I'm just going to quickly run you through this strategy that we've been working on at the minute. So you've got a little introduction to the business. You've got your objectives, so your aim and how you intend to reach them. You've got your short-term goals, your long-term goals. Here we go into quite a bit of detail about the audience analysis by age and by gender. So doing some research into the different social media platforms and seeing where our audience actually live. We do some competitor analysis, so we look at the different apps. So this is actually a dating app that we're starting to work with. So we're looking at the other dating apps and what they do well. So that's a really great way to, inspire yourself, but also see where they're missing points as well. Then we do a little audit of the channel. So we look at what they've got going on at the moment and if it's doing well or if it's not doing so well, and some key points that we can improve on quickly. That's the audit there. Then we've got the strategy here. So we split it into 5 main points of what we're going to deliver. And then we've got the implementation of the strategy. So I've done this in different stages: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. The service level agreements, that basically saying we're going to post this many times a week, it's going to be on these channels, and so on and so forth. We've got our key performance indicators. You might hear this word a lot, sometimes called KPIs. So that's, for example, Instagram. We know we're successful on Instagram because we get followers and we get likes and we get comments. And then we've got the metrics, so how much growth we can expect to see across each platform each month. And then we've just got next steps for the clients. So that is a quite in-depth social media strategy. I'll go back to the presentation now. Give me a sec. Yeah, that's quite an in-depth social media strategy, but not all of them, of course, have to be like that. That's just what we kind of do for our clients. It's a very kind of full version. But we just basically wanted to share with you the different kinds of ways that you could do it. And one of them is that big document, a very formal document, and one of them can be as simple as just planning out a grid, planning out 9 posts, 12 posts, simply by just jotting it down on a piece of paper. Okay, part 4. So we're going to quickly run through some paid for posts and how that works. So we've all seen them on our own social media. So we're just looking at Facebook quickly here. And you'll know that they're paid for posts, that someone is paying for them, because it will say sponsored. And that's when the brand has paid money to target you, because you are in their target audience. So for example, we get a lot of Adobe design ones, even though we're already Adobe customers, we're kind of in that bracket of people that are Adobe's target customers. And then Instagram, so you'll see here again, sponsored. What's great about sponsored ads is that kind of ability to just click straight through, especially on stories. I find myself using clicking on Instagram sponsored ads on the stories quite a lot, and that shop now banner allows you to kind of know that it's a sponsored ad and be able to kind of quickly click through to the website. Again, on Twitter, so if it was on Twitter, you'd see promoted, just like those there, for you to know that it's a sponsored ad. And you might find them like on Instagram, probably sometimes every fifth, sixth post is a sponsored ad. So it's quite a lot, but I think everyone's just kind of so used to it now that you don't even sort of notice that they're there. So to boost a post on Instagram, this is what you would do. So you need to have a business account to do this, I believe. Although perhaps you can do it on a personal, don't quote me on that. Here's an example of ours. So here's our Wedge Collective Instagram. Here's a little post that we did, and we can just press promote. And once we press promote, we can select a call to action. So a call to action is like, what do we want the end result to be? Do we want people to go to our profile, or our website, or send us direct messages? So for this, I would probably say our website, so we can direct them to our website, and it can show off more of our work and show off our contact details and things like that. And then this is on Facebook. So here's a little post that we have done. And again, you can just press boost post. On Facebook, you can really segment down the audience. So you can choose the location, and we can edit that right down, like we did for this program. Actually, we edited it right down to Bury and Greater Manchester, and was able to target basically you guys. So you saw the program advertised and you were able to sign up. It gives you an estimated daily result. So depending on how much money you put behind it for however many days, it gives you, you'll probably reach this amount of people with that amount of money, and you can adjust it accordingly. And what's good about these actually, if you boost a Facebook post, then you can get the ad to run on Instagram as well, which I think is where a lot of you guys came from. So yeah, it does work well. And that is module 3 complete. So we hope that you enjoyed that. Appreciate it was probably quite a lot of information to take in. We're going to quickly run through this week's tasks. You'll have them on the email that we send out to you as well. So you are going to have a go at completing some of the social strategy questions. So there's a worksheet repeating the questions that I covered earlier in this video. So have a go at responding to these with your business idea in mind. If you don't have a business idea, then don't worry. Just imagine answering those questions, thinking about if you're going to go freelance in an area that you've previously studied, so freelance designer or freelance artist, or you can choose an existing business and answer from their point of view, so any kind of brand or business that you admire. And then have a go at planning 3 posts. So we're not asking for that full document of a social media strategy. Use the grid planning method to just plan out 3 posts for your Instagram page. Identify which of the sectors, 4 sectors of content your posts fall within. So that's the educate, the persuade, the convert, those 4 ones. Again, they're outlined in your worksheet. As always, if you have any issues or any problems or any questions about it, then just get in touch with us and we'll be able to help you. I'm very sorry this is a little bit late this week, but hopefully we'll see you guys all on Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock where we can go over these tasks. Okay, thank you everybody.